Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters. I am Mahdi. Thank you so much for following the series Light and Darkness. We're now going to talk about the purpose. If you've been following along, we just spoke about the Creator and the creation. So in this episode, I'd like to go into a very deep question. What is the purpose of all of this? What is the purpose? What is the purpose of anything? What is the purpose of life? What is the purpose? Where are we headed? And this question will make a lot more sense as I ask you more questions. I like to ask reflecting questions so that I can trigger something inside of your mind, body, and soul, so that it can hit you deep and you can ask yourself these same questions. What is the purpose? And that's why I like to ask a question to begin this episode with, did you ask to be created? Did you ask to be here? And that simple answer is no. So there's a lot of these commonalities between all existence. That same answer for all existence and creation is no. And we have to understand that because of this, because of important facts through this human experience, we have proof within our souls, our hearts, our minds, and our bodies that life is a gift. It's a gift that you never asked for. So what is the purpose? I can answer this with another question. What is God? What is God is what is love. What is love? What is love? What is love is what is God. These questions work hand in hand. So, to understand these questions, we have to ask these questions. We have to figure them out. How do we figure them out? We figure out the answer to these questions through only one way: the journey of life, the human experience, the experience of life, the experience of living, the experience of being alive, the experience of the now, the experience of you, the experience of me, the experience of all things. That is the only way to answer these questions. What is love? What is God? What is the purpose? Well, if the purpose is what is God, and what is God is what is love, then what is love is what is God, and all things are God. So now the ultimate question is, what is God? Okay, if love and God are the same, and we can only understand what the answer to this is through the experience of living, of existence, which again is a gift that you never asked for. You are here, you have been granted life without asking for it. This is the first sign of unconditional love of the source, right? So, it's stated many times in all religions that God is the infinitely merciful, the infinitely forgiving. If you want more proof, are you alive right now? Are you breathing? Are there people and creatures, when you remove judgment, that exist, regardless of behavior and action? Well, that's a fact. That's proof. The infinitely forgiving, the infinitely merciful, the infinitely loving. But we can't define this. I can't just tell you what that is. You have to experience. You have to witness. Look around. Look around. What's going on in the world right now? Look around. Open your eyes and see. That's simple to understand. When you look into the heart, when you see with your heart. So, imagine this. Imagine you've been given the gift of life without asking. Now through the human experience that I just spoke about, you can start understanding what love is. And when you start understanding what love is, you start understanding what God is. Let's take a better look at this picture, at this question. There is creation. All things. Then there is creator. Creator, some call God, some call the, science and other things. We gotta remember, God is all things. So there's the creator, let's say the creator God, and the creation. Humanity, nature, existence, creatures, all things. If you take one out of the equation, then one has no meaning or value, right? Just like I said before, life and death, death and life, they are equal. They are the balance. They are the understanding. We can answer that question. What is life? What is death? We can understand that question. However, when we look at the God, the creator, and the creation, and we ask the questions, what is God? What is love? What is love is what is God. What is God is what is love. Now do you understand this relationship? Take away God from the equation, there's no creation. Take away creation from the equation, there's no God. You see how that works? So God and the creation is all one. We are all one being, this infinite source of light, love, and consciousness through the gift of life by the source of love, the creator. And the only way to understand this is by experiencing life as you're experiencing it. You can't control anything around you. The only thing you can control is your feelings, your thoughts, and your actions. You really can. You have free will. So you get to make a choice of what you want to see. Now imagine God is the infinitely forgiving, loving, merciful creator, the source of all of the things I just spoke about. And all things were absorbed by the source, by God, in the sense of love. We can't define love without this experience. Now imagine all things are pure. And if they choose not to be pure, which is an infinite being of unconditional love that we can now identify and understand through this experience that we're experiencing, then all things become this, regardless. So if you choose to go in a different direction that opposes love, simultaneously enter this hell state. It's not out there, it's inside. It's inside. When we choose to deny love, the source, God, we go into this hell state. Confusion, fear, darkness, feeling lost. So imagine that God is like the number 0. 0 multiplied by anything becomes 0. There's no escape. Imagine God is love and love is God, which is also 0. 0 multiplied by all things is now 0. God, the source, love. So God is the infinite. If you try to avoid the return to the source through life or death through the return to the source, it is inevitable. There's nothing you can do about it. You didn't ask to be created. Likewise, you didn't ask to die. You want to live. And imagine all things are inevitably purified in the sense of the return to the source, the return to love. You have to go through this process to understand that. So we create our own realities by making the decisions to love the self, to love all things, to love the source, or to do the opposite, hell, paradise. Now you're starting to understand what I'm explaining. So what is God is what is love. So if love is God, and God is love, and God loves all things infinitely, forgives all things infinitely, now we can start identifying and understanding, wow, now I've experienced God. Now I've experienced love. Love is unconditional. Try to step out of that. Judgment, hatred, egotistic religion, religious beliefs, and oppression, and values, and separation, and racism, and discrimination, and the list goes on. Those are all things that oppose love. You wonder why you feel lost and confused. You wonder why the world is in a state that it is. Because we're stuck on the outside, in the ego mind, in the material world that is fusing and eluding you to the state of darkness and hatred. Because anything that isn't love is the opposite in the sense of action and morality, pain and terror, hatred, and all of those. So to identify God, you have to understand that all things are one, and you have to experience. You're punishing your own selves with your actions if you choose otherwise. So if now we can see and experience God and experience love and experience life, we can understand the purpose. We can identify love, that love has no conditions, that God has no conditions and has no boundaries and is the infinite source of us all. There is no way out. We are all returning to the source, whether you like it or not. So now we can understand that life is the key to understanding God, the self, and love. And that is your purpose. Because now, believe it or not, you can understand that you're an infinite being of light, love, and consciousness, and you have infinite value, and all things are infinite. And those of you who choose to disbelieve will stay in that hell state inside. Those of you who choose to believe in this light, love, and consciousness of the source, the self, and all things around you, you will simultaneously enter that state of peace and paradise, forgiveness of the self, forgiveness of others, love of the self, love of others. You see how God works? It's now. It's not yesterday or tomorrow, it's now. Open your eyes, open your heart, and identify your purpose. See the love that you are, and choose it. And I promise, you will be fulfilled. So I have another question for you. Do you feel lost? Do you feel lost? Do you feel lost? I ask you that question is because I'd like to open this up by talking about a poem that I wrote. You must be lost in order to be found. The heart's beat, how profound. Love's sweet sound. Free of cost, now you are found. So if we're lost, we can be found. What is lost can now be found. What is found is now gained. What is gained is now humbled. What is humbled is now grateful. What is grateful is now beauty. What is beauty has always been you. Love, love, love. Love the you that is you, and be grateful for the you that can never be lost. To understand this deeper, we just spoke about all of the things, the purpose, love, God. We can start reflecting on this. Look at the outside world and the material world. When we lose ourselves to all of these things and we obsess with these things, we become lost. Darkness, we can't see, and we feel pain, we feel empty. So we lose ourselves in this material world that is not fulfilling. The only thing that remains is the self, is you, is the soul, is the heart, is the you that has always been you. The only thing that remains is God, the source, light, love, and consciousness, which is the self, the soul, and the heart, and the spirit. Love all things inside of you, and you'll infinitely love things out there. Everything comes from the inside out. You can shine from the inside out and choose to be in paradise and a love state, just like the sun. The sun has no conditions. It loves all. Be that and start living in a peaceful state. So set yourself free. The choice is yours. Thank you so much, brothers and sisters, for listening. Salam alaikum. Peace be upon you. Namaste. Please spread the message of love. Spread the voice and the message of Mahdi. Hashtag MAHDI. You can find me on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and also on YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel there, so you can watch all the episodes in the series. And I hope that you can reflect on these questions. Spread the love, okay? Sending love to you all. Thank you.